Let me tell you a tale what happened to my mother when she was younger, when she was just a teenager. My mom began to tell me her experience with a house in Texas. It was abandoned, the house itself, but the property was owned by a farmer. The strange thing about it, the farmer really did not like the property at all. It was creepy and desolate. No life has never brought to the property. The trees died, the grass died, not even animals would go near the property, like death plagued it. And another thing, the house had 2 doors each, a screen door and a plain old wooden door. It was like that even inside the house. It was strange. And another thing that happened, there was a murder. A man, his wife, 2 children, and I think a grandparent, maybe a grandmother or grandfather. But the sad thing about it, the police came and they saw a gruesome sight. The wife, the 2 children, and the grandparent were all dead. They tried looking for the husband and they found him in the well. He hanged himself, maybe because he saw what he did and he could not live with the guilt of seeing his family gruesomely murdered. Or something evil or even powerful than that made him kill him. The sure thing I know, my mom never wanted to go see that house ever again for what happened to her. But the farmer that purchased it years later had a mother cow that just gave birth to a calf. And he decided to put it on the property, not knowing that the next day they would no longer be with us. He came to the property and saw that they were dead. And the scariest thing was, they seemed like all moisture from their body was drained, sucked right out of them, and they just looked mummified corpses. But going back to my mom's events, my mom and her friend and her father came to the property a night, a very dark and dreary night. When they came upon the property, her father told her to check out the house. They did. The house was always open and anyone could come in and my mom and her friend went inside the house. They decided to check down in the basement. When they did, my mom will forever regret it, as the most terrifying events happened to her. Her friend and her went down further in the basement, and they came across 2 glowing red eyes. Then they realized they saw more and more of these glowing red eyes that could pierce through your soul and make a person go mad. My mom could not explain what they were, but they were very large and big, like a large animal. But her friend and her decided to go back upstairs, and when they did, my mom failed and realized something was grabbing at her leg. My mom struggled, but finally went freed, and they finally went to the door that led to the outside, but the door wouldn't open to the basement. They struggled and struggled, and they thought her father was playing a prank on them. But my mom realized that wasn't it. They finally got the door open, and they went out of the house. And she saw her father there waiting for them. And she asked her father, was the one blocking them from getting out from the basement? He said no. Then my mom realized something else, something very evil, wanted to keep them there so they could be the next victims. But my mom told me after that incident, a few months went by and the property owner decided to tear down the house. He did. And right after he did that, all the trees, the grass, all the animals as well came to the property and life was restored. Like whatever evil was lurked into that house was no longer no longer there. It was gone, vanished, for all eternity, never to plague that property ever again. But my mom said she'll never ever go back there. Seeing the certain events, and her friend as well, they never spoke of the events again. So that is my story. It's nice for y'all to listen. My name is Zombie Girl Night Tales.